if you want me to wait a couple minutes or just get started. I really need to start entering into these with like really bad dad jokes or something, you know, see if I can get any laughs out of you. All right. And we'll give it a couple minutes, unless you guys know, we have like 27 people. Is that pretty standard? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's do this then. Let's do this. I'm sorry that I was a couple minutes late. I was wrapping something up. Anyway, nice to see all of your faces. I have to say, I feel like the past, so at the end of last week, I went to my brother's wedding in Boston. And this is just a fun story. I went to his wedding. It's actually my stepbrothers, my dad. I mean, my mom and his dad have been married a long time, so I just call him my brother. So I didn't know his mom's side of the family. I met his aunt and his uncle when I was there, who's now my step aunt. And she happens to be the mayor of Ranchos Palos Verdes. And I just am fascinated at what a small world it is out there. And it just, I just love going new places and doing new things. And just meeting new people. And I just think it's really cool. So that's my story. But aside from that, because it was, I knew a short week, I have been cramming in meetings and really feel like I have been like in my office, just like in meetings and on the phone. And I miss seeing all of your faces in person. So I just want you to know, I hope for me that that's not the norm. I like to be out there. I like to say hi to you. I like to see what you're all doing. And I just am sorry if I haven't done that in the past week. I am not a hermit. I'm just real busy. And next week I am heading off to the Best Friends Conference, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's another short week. But I'm still reachable if you need me. It just might be a delay. So I am working. So a couple quick things. Let's just touch on the fun, hot topic, spay and neuter. It's clearly an issue. We know it's an issue. I know that people in the city feel really strongly about it being an issue, and they should. So I just kind of wanted, I know I said this the last meeting that we were at, but I do want to keep reiterating it because I think it's really important, and you are all the voice in our community, right? And so it's important that all of you really understand, like I can't always tell everyone all the things. So I depend on all of you to say, actually, here's what's really going on over there. And so when it comes to spay and neuter, we all know that Home First program was designed during crisis and COVID. It is not a thing that rescues and shelters wanted to do, but we all did it. It's not just Long Beach. It was kind of a movement, right? Because our choice was stack dogs on dogs on dogs and cats on cats on cats, or make a choice that got them out temporarily. We are not in COVID anymore. And although we have limitations to spay and neuter, I strongly believe that we can sunset this Home First program. There are a few trajectories there. One is we have to make sure that we're caught up, right? And so we have people going down that list, making sure that our Home First animals that are out there are getting what they need. And Fix Long Beach has been instrumental in this. Just talked to Diana last week, I think it was maybe a week and a half ago. But they have these huge spay and neuter days going on over there. They're fixing our Home First animals as best as they can. We also have to know there's going to be some attrition. We're going to lose people in that system who never call us back, who don't want to do it, who have moved. It's just an unfortunate reality, and we're going to do our best to close the gap, right? And outside of that, that is what we can do. The next piece is, before we just cancel Home First and stop sending adoptable animals out unfixed, we need to have a contingency plan, because it's still going to happen, right? What are we going to do? Just never send dogs that have been sitting here for months and months, just never send them home? I mean, that's not an option. So we have to play catch up, right? We have to figure out a way. And I know I said this before, but I'm just going to say it again. I just spent an hour today on the phone with Camp, trying to figure out how we can best get caught up. so that we over time can really sunset that program and get to a point where we are caught up on everything here. And then we're just spaying and neutering what's coming in, not having to sit on what should be going on. And then we can say, we're not doing this anymore, we're caught up. So in order for us to do that, you know, I know you guys know that Anna and Helen Sanders Cat Paws are going to be doing some work for us and getting animals fixed. That's amazing. We love that. Thank you, Anna. Camp, we have a couple of options. One is, and this is kind of a pilot program, but if you're not familiar with camp, they're in San Pedro right now. Someday, I'm going to bring them to Long Beach. Just got to figure that out. But right now they're in San Pedro. They have some gaps every day where they get no-shows. That average is maybe like 5 a day or so. And they're trying to figure out how they can best give those spay and neuter spots to shelters. How can they, so those spots don't go to waste, right? Because that sucks. So we talked today, when I get back from Best Friends, we're gonna reconnect. We may have to kind of develop a transport program, because it is kind of a like, what they'd have to do is call us at 8 in the morning and say, we have X number of spots. We'd have to drive dogs there, be there by 9. And then somebody would have to pick up between like 3 and 4 and bring them back. And that might mean we need to contract with a transport person. Maybe our officers can do it. If there are volunteers who might be interested in participating in that, please let me know. Maybe we can build like a transport community just to get these animals out. Imagine if we had just 5 big dog spots every morning, Monday through Friday, right? And we could just churn these out. It's not ideal. It's not like it's you know, a 50 dog day, which would be really ideal, but it's something. It's a way to chip away at this problem. So please, if you are interested in maybe forming kind of that emergency like transport committee, then we can figure out like who would be on call and what mornings. I would love to just kind of play this out, even if we pilot it. If it doesn't work, we don't do it. But it seems a waste to have these spay and neuter spots available and camp saying, hey, Long Beach, we want to help. So that's one. Second, I think I told you this before, but they have a vet training program where their vets who are straight out of school want to learn how to do high volume spay and neuter. If we can figure out a space for them to come here, they will send their vets for free to come train on high volume spay and neuter and help us get caught up. That is a space issue, because obviously we need 2 tables, we need a working space, like they need a certain amount of room to be able to pull that off. So we're working on it. It's not an impossible thing. The cool thing about the spay and neuter problem is I do believe it is solvable. We just have to get a little creative. And I'm a big fan of just, we work together, we try something. If it doesn't work, we say, okay, that didn't work, let's try the next thing. But it is important. We need to be fixing our animals before we send them into the community. 30 years ago, this was the model in animal rescue, where we relied on the public to fix animals, and it didn't work. And there's a lot of data to back that up. We know this. So on this back end of COVID, when it was essential, we now need to reevaluate and find a way to do this responsibly. So I hope I have your support in that. I know asking, thanks, Anna. I know asking you guys to like, hey, help us transport animals at 8 a.m. Not the best job in the world, but it would solve a really big problem. So again, if you're interested, please email me. And then hopefully we can get this vet training program up and running. We're also, it's not spay and neuter, but on August 25th, you'll see advertisements for it soon. Camp will be here on site on our property in our parking lot doing a low-cost vaccine and microchip clinic from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. And if that all goes well, we're hoping to do it once a month just to start. So hopefully we'll have that going on. They're really awesome. If you've never worked with them before, it's actually great because they kind of like cut and paste themselves in places. It doesn't require a lot from our staff. We're just like, here's the space. And they're like, great, we got it. They do all of it, which is pretty incredible because the last thing our team needs right now is more things. So we can still help the community, and it's a really great partnership. So stay tuned for that. And then once we start advertising, please share. Please share. I would really love the community to make the best use of that clinic. What other news do I have? Oh, so many of you probably know our foster coordinator has resigned. She was, if you know Taba was supposed to stay until that 8th, but she just decided that it was better to call it. So she's actually gone now. So I'm sorry if you didn't say goodbye to her. I do want you to know that Christine and I have met. We have the ways to fill those gaps. Everybody is doing a team effort here. So we've got Heather, who's a volunteer and has been Taba's volunteer, is stepping up to help find fosters as kittens come in. Anna, being the amazing person she is picking up the rescue networking piece. Anna and I actually have a meeting with Claudia from Little Lion Foundation next week to talk about how they can really kind of extra help us in this time of not having a foster coordinator. Ideally, our underage kittens would be going to rescue first, and then foster becomes kind of that supplemental program. So that's what we're working towards. Christine and Andrea and our animal care team are all aware, and everybody is kind of playing a role, right? So it's like that puzzle piece. We're all coming together. Everybody has a different piece. It'll be a little heavy for a bit, but we're going to be okay. We have a good team and everybody kind of knows their role and what they're going to do and is really willing to step up. And so I appreciate that a lot. What else was I going to say? Oh, HR has been great as well. So told me, so like, you know, say something to the universe. They told me that the job description should be up by tomorrow, which is like unprecedentedly fast. So let's hope that happens. They have really taken this seriously and understand that literally the lives of kittens are at stake. And so I'm happy to hear that. It's not a banded position, so it won't take as long as many of you are kind of used to. We can interview, we can hire. So it probably will still take a few weeks, but it's faster than I think the banded positions take. Many of you probably also saw our new adoption fee schedule went out. That is based on, so our adoption fees were not actually correct based on the city council presented fee schedule. So I had to do a deep dive and kind of tweak that. But there is a lot of room there for our promos and our specials. And so like the month of August with Clear the Shelters, it's a $25 promo for everything. And then we'll culminate at that last weekend with a $5 adoption fee. So please share that too. Send people here. I know you guys want to see these animals go home as much as all of us do. If you have any questions about the adoption fees, please let me know. Happy to answer best I can. The other piece of that, Christine and I were talking today too, and the staff don't know yet, but they will. The other piece of adoption is I would like to move away from adopting out under 8-week-olds. I don't think we should be adopting out like 4-week-old kittens anymore. It was also kind of a crisis COVID moment. And I think that's something that we can move away from now. So staff is going to be made aware, and we're going to just kind of try to do that 8 weeks and up. So spay and neuter age and up, essentially. So that we're kind of ready when we're loaded with spay and neuter options. They can get fixed, they can go home. But I would like to not see super young animals go into adoptions. I think that is my spiel for the day. I don't know if I missed anything. I made notes. What you guys got any questions for me?
Patty has her hand raised.
Patty, what's up?
Hey. I have a question about a fee for fosters.
Mm-hmm.
Why do fosters have to pay the $25 fee?
Because it's a good question. So I'm not allowed to waive fees. That's the answer. I am not allowed to actually waive fees. I will say most of our fosters, to be honest, are going to be the long stay dogs. So they're all going to fall under the $5 fee. They're all going to end up being $5, essentially. I don't think we send, Christine, how many dogs do we send that are to foster that are like brand new?
Under 30 days? Very, very, very few. I don't know if there's even been any.
Yeah. So to be honest, we probably won't even use that one, Patty. It's just kind of on there as like the standing fee, but almost all of them are going to fall under that $5 fee. And, you know, Bree and Andrea do have a little bit of discretion there too. We've talked about it, and we at no point do we want an adoption fee to be a barrier. So there's kind of like our standard fees and then a bunch of promos that almost all our animals fall under and can end up being $5 or $10, if that makes sense.
Go ahead, Janet.
I've been working with Paw Shop a lot lately, and does this affect their adoption fees? Because theirs are different than ours.
So the long answer for that is yes, but I think it's a bigger question, or a bigger system. At some point, our shops we should all function the same. It should be a same experience, the same fees for things, right? So people know it's Long Beach Animal Care Services.
Right.
At this point, I don't know if Christine, I don't think we need to. Like, I don't want to necessarily change that piece yet. That's like a whole external piece. So we'll kind of stay where we're at. And then I've been, I know Susan has kind of started to make that introduction with Paw Shop. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Laura Selmar and Pet Supplies Plus. And then I know Julie and I will meet about PFE. So I think those pieces will eventually, the answer is yes, we'll have the same adoption fees across the board. But you know, Rome wasn't built overnight, right? So we'll do those pieces slowly.
Just
That make
curious
sense?
about that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anyone else? I don't see any.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So, is there gonna be a event for Clear the Shelters? I know we've had that in the past.
Yes, so I think we have a culminating event. I think it's the last weekend of August. Yeah, so the very last weekend of August. Actually, it'll be a really busy weekend. That Friday will be our clinic. And then that Saturday, Sunday will be our Clear the Shelters event. So you will hear more about that. Anything else? No. All right.
I'm sorry, did Anna Wong make it on? She had something she wanted to talk about, but I know she got kind of waylaid up front.
Yeah, I'm here.
There. I see her.
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So we have if you haven't seen it already, we have the catio about 3/4 of the way done. We're super proud of the work that was done by the volunteers. Literally, they took my vision and ran with it and exceeded my expectations, and I couldn't be more happier. I couldn't be happier. We should be finished with it this weekend. There's going to be some new build outs put in there to provide some more horizontal lateral space. I got a permission from Dr. Wood. Once that new space in there is created, I can add 2 more cats, which will put us at 14 cats total that we're allowed to have in there. The volunteers, Dan is the one that came up with the idea. I wanted the shade cloth taken off, and nobody could figure out how to like come to a middle ground out on this. And then Dan saw the blinds that were on the inside of the cat rooms, and there's no need for those, and they fit perfectly out there. So he put them out there. So every day we can raise them and lower them. The cats are loving the sun. If you haven't been out there yet, it's a really neat place to go take a little break, and all the cats in there are friendly. We're not going to be putting spicy cats in there, God willing. We do have a sweet little old lady that's a paraplegic in there, and she is just lovely. Her name is Opal, and she loves visitors. So if you have a moment, step in and see her. I'm hoping to do a grand reopening of the catio in a few weeks to invite the public to come out and see what we've done. I think it's something really positive. It's been a tough year for the public and for all of us, volunteers and staff. Intake's been high. We've been running around and are tired, and it's something really positive. I think the public is going to embrace. They've wanted the catio back. We got the catio back and we're excited. One of the most important things in the catio though, is that we make sure that we're not letting people in there unsupervised, meaning if we're going to take someone in the catio, we need to make sure somebody's in there with them. We don't want someone in there if they're just a looky-loo and spending 100 hours in there and wasting your time, but certainly let's give them some space. I'd like to encourage the reading literacy to go out there. The cats really love it. If you go sit out there, the cats are just congregating around you and it's really pretty neat. We do not, Dr. Wood and I spoke yesterday, and we have decided that we do not need to do the booties in there right now. We're going to see how our herd health is. I'm actually the one that likes the booties. I'm worried about disease because it took so long to get this back, but I'm going to trust the process. Janet. So I'm going to trust the process. So you just please make sure when we go in there that you guys are at least going in with clean hands and maybe wipe your feet in the grass or something. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm excited for you all to see it when Dan and DeRay put the finishing touches on it. The first day that we were moving things over, I really need to be giving a big acknowledgement to Janet. She moved the first 8 cats over there. It cost her back. She worked so hard that day. And I just want to thank you for that, Janet, and just everybody who made it happen. So I couldn't be happier. It lifted my mood personally. I struggle seeing cats in cages, as I know all of you do. And now we have a really beautiful outlet for them. And thank you, Melanie, for approving it, for us to have it back for the cats and not the dogs.
Thank you. It's like going into your living room.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Great, thank you, Anna, and thank you to all the volunteers who helped put the catio together. Does anyone have any other questions or any other topics that you want to talk about at today's meeting?
I just want to say to the dog people that I'm really excited that Squish got adopted because I really loved her. And she came with me to 2 city councils, Long Beach and Signal Hill, and she was a huge hit and was just like a micro pity. I don't know. She was just lovable and it made me very happy. And I got to meet the woman who adopted her and she was fabulous. And sometimes it's just those small things at the end of a long day, right? So it brought me a little joy. I also had to tell my partner several times that we were not adopting Squish. So.
All right.
Oh, wait, I think you're muted. Sorry, we had a question, but she's muted.
I was wondering if there's any way we could get some more benches around the shelter that are maybe in the shade, because, you know, we walk dogs and we kind of like to sit and rest a little bit. They like to rest. But they're all in the shade except for like one that is in front of the catio, and then it was moved. And it's just a little crowded there because the tables, but just a suggestion, maybe another bench with a shelter or in the shade somewhere for the dog walkers to rest.
They're mostly in the sun, not in the shade.
Gotcha.
I mean, right. We want to, you know what I mean? We want to be in the shade.
Right. You don't want to dog walk and work on your tan. I got it.
Right. Well,
or get like heat stroke or dehydrated. That's right.
Well, they like to sit in the shade also.
They do. All
And so there's just is very limited areas to do that. So.
Yes, I will take a look. Christine and I have some other supplies and stuff we need to order too. So we can just take a look and see if we can find some. Could also reach out to Mob, Christine, and see if they have anything over there. So I can email Hurley and see if he has anything. It's a good idea. At some point, I'm trying to get some out front too for the people to sit in under that tarp. If there's like a big line, right? So they're also just sitting in the shade and not baking in the sun somewhere. So it's important. Very good idea. Anita.
Hi, kind of have a stupid question. And we were talking about transporting dogs and whatnot. I know on the Facebook group the other night, there was one goes, oh, can somebody transport Malamute and 5 puppies? And I went, well, I have time, but I have a little sedan. I don't know if that's best for transporting dogs. So is there like restrictions on transporting dogs? Will we be using LBAX vehicles or?
I don't actually know the answer to that. I'm going to go on a limb and say that you probably can't use LBAX vehicle. Like I can't even drive an LBAX vehicle. So I'm assuming you can't either. I think there's like a
Yeah, I
specific
didn't think so.
drug testing and like a whole thing that has to happen.
For transport, is there something, like I said,
Right.
because I drive a little sedan, so I'm like, I don't think that would be the best for it.
It's kind of
Mhm.
always a challenge, right? I don't know. I mean, I think we'll probably run into that a lot. So I don't know if we'd end up having like a caravan of people who each have a dog in their car. Not the most efficient. I would love to have a van that we could just put them in and drive. But at the moment we don't have that. So I think we just got to play around with it, see what works. I don't know, Christine, you can probably add to that if I have misspoke in any way.
No, that's absolutely right. Unfortunately, volunteers cannot drive city vehicles. But you know, we're putting this out there right now because it's something that we're looking to start, and you know, we might be able to come up with something that is an alternative to using a city vehicle. If we all, you know, put our brains to it, then we might come up with something else.
Yeah. Maybe one of you has just like a van that's just like sitting in your driveway right now. And you're like, I don't have any use for it. Would you guys like to borrow it? Right? We can hope. But yeah, thank you, Anita. I think that's probably going to be a consistent issue. So.
Yeah,
Janet.
I mentioned this on the Facebook group also about transporting, because if I have an SUV, I asked, are the dogs or cats, whatever, coming in a crate or something? Because driving the car and having the dog loose in the back, a dog that I don't know, I don't know how that works. And somebody said, well, then we might have some, and depending on the size of the dog and everything. So I'll look at these things and say, I could do it, but then I can't figure out how I could do it safely for everybody in that car, 2- and 4-legged.
Yep, I completely agree. I'm actually a big fan of crates in the car, especially for unknown dogs. You have no idea if they're going to panic, freak out, climb up over your head and try to climb into your gear shift, right? Like you just have some motorcycle backfires and now you have a dog in your lap, right? Like, so I'm actually a big fan of crates. If they fit in the car, great. And you know, if we have any knowledge at all, there are harnesses that we could seatbelt in if we think it's a dog that can handle that. So I think this kind of feedback is really important, right? Because I do think if we're going to do something like a transport group, we want to make sure it's safe for everyone, humans and dogs alike. And so, yeah, I would say I would actually feel way more comfortable, especially if you had multiple. Like if your car could actually handle 2 dogs at a time, they should be crated for sure. You know, so yeah, I think we just have to work it out and figure out space wise, but we could provide crates. Absolutely. And Christine, we can just buy some if we need to. Yeah. Buying a crate is probably less expensive than hanging on to an unfixed dog for months on end. So Janet.
Oh, yeah, I was curious about the front office area. Are you going to be putting a new sheet glass in front of the office there, or leave it open?
Not as it stands at the moment. We're going to try to leave it open.
Oh, okay, just curious about
Mm.
that. All right.
I'm gonna make a commentary on the front. I'm up there a lot when I'm called up for cat things, and I have to tell you, I think the openness of the area now brings people down a little bit when they're coming in. They feel more in touch with the people behind the counter. So I'm a big fan of it. I think it just helps people to feel more connected, and really truly the safety of us behind the counter is not changed, because all they have to do is walk into the back if they wanted to do something or go over to SPCLA. So it really didn't provide any kind of safety whatsoever, other than for the people that were in that room.
Oh, okay. I was just curious, that's all. I know at first the folks in there were a little nervous, should I say, about not having that little bit of protection, because some people come in there rather angry and some people come in there crying. So, you know, people do get emotional in our lobby. So I just hadn't ever talked to anybody about that, and I thought I'd bring that up here. So thanks for answering.
Anyone? Cool. All right. Well, I don't know. Did you have any other topics, Christine?
Nope, not for today. But if you guys have any topics for next month, you know, please be sure to email me and let me know if you think of anything in between now and then.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say, like I know I say it a lot, but thank you guys for everything. Keep in mind that August is always one of the hardest months in rescue. For those of you who've been in it, you know that. We already have historically high intakes and low adoptions as a general theme right now in rescue, but August always adds a little extra oomph to that, hence why Clear the Shelters exists. And so just be kind to one another. It can get real stressful, real tiring. It's hot as hell. It's like 90 some degrees out there. Everyone's tired and burnt and crumpy, and we want to see animals getting out of here. And so just that friendly reminder that we are all here for the same purpose, not to be like kitschy about it, but we are. And I just think it's really important that we work together and stand together in all of this. And it's probably going to be a tough month with no foster coordinator and all the other things I mentioned, but we'll get through it because we have a really awesome team of people. So just look out for each other, take care of each other, bring each other water on those hot days when stubborn people like me just work outside and think I'm fine. You know, just take care of each other. It's important here. So rehoming group, someone there is in the dark. I don't know who it is.
Well, we have Ricky and Gary to give us some humor every day.
Hi.
Great.
I don't have anything really to contribute to the conversation we've had thus far. We've been here the whole time. We don't have anything really because we've honestly been doing very well, and we very much appreciate the help we've been receiving consistently from you guys. We've been really doing really good on the walking. Hi, Janice. We've been doing really good on the walking. If you guys have noticed, Chris has started filling out the columns in gold whenever we get pretty much every dog that's walkable out on a walk. So we're doing that a lot more consistently. So we just want to acknowledge that that's happening. It's great and we love it. It's just, we like it. Thank you. We've been doing really good. Really, I don't have any complaints or constructive criticism. So, you know, thanks. Dogs and cats alike, we're doing well. Thank you for your support and your continued dedication. And that's all of it.
Okay, well, I think we can end on that. And, you know, thank you so much to everyone for coming tonight and for everyone who is going to watch the video recording. And we'll see you next month, but come say hi anytime. Always welcome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.